I've been blessed to have a wonderful father like him. He was a great man, real good man. He was my mentor for years. I worked with my father for over 20 years in the plumbing and sewer business. I'm going to miss the hell out of him. He's taught me a lot of things that I know today. I know I've taught him a few things, but he was my best friend. I'm going to miss the hell out of him. He's just always been there for everybody. I don't think there's a person that ever said a bad word about my dad. A great man. I'm going to miss him.
Yeah, and over at the Legion, he was such a flirt. A big flirt.
He
Yeah.
sure was.
I remember him and me dancing. He is such a great dancer.
The most important thing in Gene's life was Lovey. He was a great husband to her, and that's what he called her all the time. And I played jokes on him I called her one day and said, we're going to put love notes in Gene's uniforms when they come in, and you act like you don't know anything about it. She said, okay. So we did. We'd write love notes and a phone number and a name, and he'd take it home and she'd make a big scene about, who is this? And he come to work and told me, we laughed so hard. And he laughed finally when we told him.
I think his legacy, he was a wonderful man. I don't want to cry. He was very good-hearted. He was ornery. A lot of times he would call women lovey. Everybody was lovey. But then he finally told me, he said, when I can't remember women's names, I always call them lovey. And I thought, oh my, all these women thought they were special. And it's just because he couldn't remember their name. And I thought, well, okay. But
What about when you played inside? Would old Pawpaw chase you sometimes with his cane? Sometimes, huh, girl? Sometimes.
Every time I'd go over there, he would just give us the biggest hugs, and he would always hang out with us. He would just spoil us. He would like give us opportunities for everything. And our birthdays, he would always give us gifts, and he never forgot any of our birthdays.
I mean, he definitely wasn't a judger. I mean, whatever you did in life, he still loved you. I mean, there's been a lot going on in the family the past 5-6 years, and I mean, he definitely didn't judge you. I know that much. He accepted you for who you were and loved you no matter what.
Oh, he was very kind, and he always smelled good. Those are my most favorite memories of him. The things I remember the most were all the times that we would spend at like the Legion, specifically Thursdays. We would go up there with my dad, and us kids would just be out running around and constantly asking Grandpa for quarters so we could play the video games there. So that was always the best.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that this happened to him. Like, he was the heart of our family, and what I would say to him is that I love you, and I'm sorry you had to do that alone. And I wish we was more there. I know I got to hear him say I love you for the last time, but I love you too, and I hope you're dancing with Grandma and playing with Gidget, and you'll be very missed.
And just so many stories of stuff he'd do in the community, just always being that good neighbor, that person to be there, someone who was always had your back, that you could always count on, that he was always doing everything for the people he cared about, just being that overall good person.
He never judged anybody. He loved talk. I mean, if you walked into him and see him there, he was gonna make it a point to come see you, shake your hand, ask you how the hell you're doing, and just always made you feel welcome, you know, even if it was a place where you weren't, you know. He would go out of his way to make sure you were.
He'd always give me a hard time, but he always told me I was the daughter that he never had. So I know he appreciated everything I did for him.
Do you think he's proud of you?
Oh yeah. Yep. I love him, and he wasn't alone, even though he probably felt alone at the hospital, but we were all with him, and we love him.
But in the end of the day, I always seen the lesson he was trying to teach me. As I went on and started my own business, really hit me in the face. It's like, the old man wasn't lying. This is tough. But he did a heck of a job maintaining and keeping everything afloat and making sure everybody was happy. Wasn't always the funnest to deal with when you was working with him, but you know, there was a reason why he was hard knocks. He was letting us know the reason why it is the way it is, and you know, it was either that way or, you know, figure it out a different way on your own. So, I tell you, it's not always easier going out on your own, but very loving man, very loving father, excellent husband. I know he missed Mom.
Most important things I would probably say would have been Lovey, my mom. That's his most important thing. They've been through hell and back. I mean, they were together 52 years. They would have been 53 years.
What do you think is the first thing your mom said?
She said, I've been sitting at this gate for 7 years. Where you been? You've been down there partying with your friends and having a good time, and here I sit. And then she said, now you can sit here and wait, I'm going to Kohl's.
He had a good work ethic. My dad worked, when he first started the business, he worked for himself for probably the first 5 years of it, you know, and then he used to have friends help and stuff, but my dad started that and he built it on his own. He did it all by himself. And I feel that my grandmother, Grandma Vivian Fisher, I believe she has a lot to do with that. My dad's dad died when my dad was 14, so my dad really did not get to know his father. She raised him all by herself when my grandfather passed away, and she's a wonderful woman, and I miss her as well, but she put that into my father. She instilled that into my father. If you're gonna do something, do it right the first time. We won't have to go back and do it.
Well, I'd probably want him to make sure that he watches over us and keeps us safe, and just be happy, rest. You've done everything you needed to do here. You've molded us into men, and I thank you for that. And I love you.
His legacy was just to be a good person, you know. He left a lot of good times and good laughs here with everyone. I mean, he built a business from the ground up for his family to continue on. And that right there is just, to me, is amazing. And hopefully if I'm half the man he is, I would say I'd be a pretty great person.